Hi, everybody. Welcome to Levi Stadium here in Santa Clara, California. I'm Will Vandervoort. Standing next to me, Alex Dodd, as we get set here for the national championship game. Clemson versus Alabama, number 2 versus number 1. Year number 4, Alabama-Clemson. I can go on and on. Third time, Alex. This is your first time. And first of all, I want to get your thoughts. Your first time covering the national championship. You know, you're still a college guy, still trying to learn the business and all. What do you feel like right now?
Well, it's really exciting. I remember as a kid watching all the national championship games. The first championship game I remember watching is that Vince Young Texas-USC game as a kid, watching it with my dad, and that final score there at the end. So it's cool to think that I'm in a national championship now. I'm covering the game. Didn't think I would be here in my first 2 years of college. That wasn't something that I thought was possible growing up. But thanks to the Clemson Insider, here I am at the national championship game, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one too, and we'll kind of break it down a little bit, just kind of, give you a little analysis of what we maybe think is going to happen. Obviously, I think the key for me is going to be Clemson's ability to stop Alabama's running game. I know everybody talks about Tua and those receivers, but it all starts with the running game. They want to run the football. There's no doubt about that. That's what they want to do, especially with Dexter Lawrence not being in there. It's going to be even more important for him. Your thoughts on that, and can Albert Huggins feel that need? And to me, the key is going to be no more than 2 yards. If Alabama's getting 3 and 4 yards a pop there, then they're going to be in great shape with Tua in the play-action game and do whatever they want downfield.
Yeah, I think Albert Huggins did a great job against Notre Dame a week ago, but obviously Alabama presents a lot of different challenges than Notre Dame did. Dexter Williams, a much different back than Damian Harris for Alabama, and Alabama's deep at running back too. It's not just Damian Harris. You've got other guys behind him that are going to be able to make a difference. And really in this game, I feel like whoever establishes the line of scrimmage is going to be the team that comes away victorious with another national championship trophy. But Albert Huggins is a huge key. I think that he can do it. He's had the experience. He's gotten the reps. Dabo calls him a co-starter, and he calls him a co-starter for a reason, because he gets similar reps to Lawrence, but he's not Dexter Lawrence. He's going to not get the double team. Christian will get the double team over there at defensive tackle. So, you're going to be able to match him up one-on-one, and he's going to have to win some of those one-on-one battles against an Alabama offensive line that isn't the same as some of the ones that we've seen in years past. Yeah,
and speaking of that, we talked to William Qualkenbush, former Clemson Insider staff guy and now doing his thing with Clemson University. And Qualk told us that, one thing he noticed watching the Orange Bowl was how even against Oklahoma's defensive front, they max protect a lot, which means when they do that, they're keeping a tight end in, they're keeping running backs in. He says, and he made a good point, if they do that tonight, then that means Clemson's getting to Tua, and what it's doing is it's taking away some running backs, taking away some skill players out in the middle of the field. And what that does, that allows the safeties for Clemson to be able to concentrate on just the wide receivers and not have to worry about running backs and tight ends. I think that's a very great point by him, and that's something I think we need to look out for in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Clemson's got to do something to help out the secondary, and what they're going to have to do is get Tua uncomfortable. When we've seen him uncomfortable, like in that Georgia game, where he was still a little gimpy from the ankle and the injuries that he's had nagging all year, but when he's uncomfortable, he's not able to make the same throws. He's not able to be, have the same presence in the pocket and extend plays the way that he has when he's being Tua the superstar. So if you get pressure to him, that's a major key. But like you said, it all starts with the run game. If Alabama's having to start with 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 7 instead of having 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5, then that's a big key for Clemson, getting those stops on the run game and first down.
And then, of course, we flip it over to the other side, and when you look at this Alabama defense against Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and those wide receivers, I think the key, again, comes up front, and it's going to be with number 92, Williams. He is a man-child, if you will, in the middle of that defensive line. 17 tackles for a loss. Leads the team, I think he's like 3rd overall in tackles as a defensive tackle. 7 sacks. Guy causes nothing but problems all the time. Beats double teams just like it's nobody's business. I mean, he is really good football player. What has Clemson got to do to limit him and to try to not make him be part of the game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult to limit Quinnen Williams. I mean, he's going to get he's going to get pressure on Lawrence. But what separated Lawrence's ability as a quarterback is when teams get pressure on him, he still gets rid of the football. So as long as Trevor Lawrence can still get the ball out of his hand quickly, and able to get the ball to his playmakers and establish the run game. Again, I keep going back to this. If Clemson can establish the run game and just run away from him or get a double team and try to neutralize him and just hold him up, you're not going to be able to take him out of the game. He's too good of a player. He's an All-American for a reason. But you've got to divert the game plan away from him, and then when he gets pressure on Lawrence, just continue to get the ball out of your hand early like he has all season.
I think the key number for Clemson is 120 rushing yards. If they can get to 120 rushing yards, I think they win this game, because that'll be just enough to keep Alabama's linebackers off and have to make them respect of what's going on in the run game and not just come after the quarterback, and that could set up the play action, do a lot of different things that Clemson loves to do. However, I think tonight what you're going to see, because it is the last game of the season and you got to throw everything out, Trevor Lawrence is going to run the ball 15 times tonight. That's my prediction. He's going to run the ball 15 times. He's going to. Everybody says, "Oh, he's not a running quarterback." He can be if you need him to be. And Clemson needs him to be a running quarterback right now. I think tonight that's one of the things they're going to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Trevor's ability with his feet is a lot more than people give him credit for. The way that he runs the football is a lot like the way that Deshaun does. He just kind of finds space on the field and goes where people aren't. And he has really good vision with the way that he runs the ball. He's not incredibly elusive. He doesn't make quick cuts or anything like that. But he finds the open field and he goes where people aren't. I think that's a big key in Clemson's running game tonight. Is you have to do more than just hand the ball to Travis Etienne between the tackles, because he's not going to be able to get yards against Alabama like he could against Boston College or somebody else that Clemson's played this year. You're going to have to be a little bit more creative. You're going to have to do some misdirection and other things to get the running yards that you need to win this game.
All right, we've given some keys and what we think needs to happen, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Go ahead and predict. You predict your score first. I'm going to predict mine. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Yeah, the spread in this game is Alabama at like 5.5 right now. And nobody's giving Clemson a chance. We've watched Game Day today. We've been watching First Take, everything that ESPN's been putting out, reading everything on Twitter, following along with all the coverage this week, and nobody's giving Clemson a chance. And that seems to be the element that Dabo Swinney enjoys the most. And it's an element that Clemson doesn't get to be in very much. So I think that Coach Swinney is going to be able to motivate the players well because of all the things people are saying about them being on the Roy bus, them not being able to compete with a team like Alabama. And I think Clemson is going to come out on top. And I'm going to say 34-28 Clemson. 34-28. Well,
I'm with you. I think there's this game where it seems like Clemson shouldn't even show up and play. The Trevor Lawrence and those guys seem to be going up against the 1976 Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It's Jack Lambert's going to be playing for Alabama. Mean Joe Green's going to be in the middle of that defensive line for Alabama. And Trevor Lawrence doesn't know what he's going to do. He's going to be so confused because Mel Blount and those guys are going to be back there. And I even think Ronnie Lott's going to go ahead and dress for Alabama tonight because it just seems like Clemson has no chance against that Alabama defense. And then on the other side, all of a sudden, Clemson's offense became defense, which is number 2 in the country in total defense, number 1 in scoring defense, leads the country in sacks, leads the country in quarterback pressures. All of a sudden, they have become the Oklahoma Sooners. And they just don't know how to play defense anymore. And they're just not going to know how to handle Alabama's Tua and those wide receivers. And they're just going to carve up this Clemson defense all night. So with that said, I think Dabo Swinney's using everything I just said the same way I did it. And they're going to end up coming out here, and they're going to take it to Alabama. But it's still going to be a close game, I still think. 28-24. Tua sacked at least 4 times. Probably hit at least 11. Count on it. That Clemson defensive line, they came back for this reason tonight, and they're going to show everybody why they came back. For Alex Dodd, Will Vandervoort, stay tuned to TCI for all your coverage of Clemson sports. We'll have everything for this game from here on out.